LOL. Ile ingine gani? Which is the other one? Huh? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So where was I? At LOL.
BRB.
Huh?
BRB.
BRB. Be right back. Which is the other one? Which is the other one? Come on, guys. Shangamke. This is
Our
our
Tumizo.
Huh?
Our Tumizo.
Our Tumizo. But this is something for the youth. So at least we are moving forward from LOL, from emojis. What else, Chupa? BRB to Mercy.
Yes. Mercy, GOYN, YEPI.
GOYN, YEPI. But I saw OY by the Chupa. I saw OY and I was like, okay, what does it mean?
I don't know. What does it mean?
What does it mean? Ati what?
Wamekataa kusema what GOYN is, na wanajua OY.
And how do you
Thank you. Now you have a Thank you. Now you have a voice. Thank you so much.
Okay, so
Global Opportunity Youth Network. Thank you so much. I'm informed that the sound is back, and I'd love to recognize the presence of our sign language interpreter. She's here, so for those who would also want to interact with her. And now that the sound is back, we are going to welcome Mr. Osman Barani again. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning to you all. How are you guys doing? Good. Before I go to protocol, I'm actually going to jog your minds. There is a Swahili proverb, and my friend from Tanga is better in Kiswahili than I am. Hassan Karibu. It takes a village to raise a child. All of us have heard that. Now, taking it to the TikTok generation, there's one acronym that goes rolling on the floor, laughing out loud. What is that? I don't know if people really do that. So it takes a village to raise a child. Let's think about that in the context of what's happening today. It takes an ecosystem to scale up an idea, an innovation. The ideator cannot do it alone. The investor cannot do it alone. There needs to be collaboration. The more value the family adds to the upbringing of the child, the more valuable the family becomes. The more value we add to our entrepreneurship ecosystem, the more valuable we as Mombasa become. So that's the context of today's launch. The chief guest, County Commissioner Mombasa, Mr. Gilbert Kitio, the CEO of KNCCI, Bwana James Kitavi, and there is one more dignitary towards the end of my welcome remarks. Representatives from the government, both county and national, private sector, civil society, academia, and I see some here, development partners, distinguished guests. On behalf of the Swahili Pot family, and of course, the Global Opportunity Youth Network, it's a pleasure to welcome you all to today's, I would call it a very, very historic launch. It's called the Mombasa Entrepreneurship Resource Center for Youth, Mercy. Now, what does the word mercy mean? Are we really lending out a helping hand, being merciful to those who need our help through this platform? The answer is yes, we need it badly. In fact, it is long overdue. Time was yesterday, not today. But here we are sitting, not only discussing it, but ready to launch it. This is a go-to platform and publication that will list all entrepreneurship and ecosystem players in Mombasa, and not only in Mombasa, but around. The idea is to enable and empower through interaction, through engagement, through access. Now, the last word that I used is the most important problem that we are solving: access. Access to information, access to resources, access to people, access to funding. It's all about providing access. And we have not been able to do that for many years now. Why? What is the real problem? Because we have an uncoordinated, fragmented business, entrepreneurship, innovation ecosystem. Everybody wants to set up their own in a small way here and there. Yes, we are helping each other, but we are not helping everybody at a go. So today is about that platform that brings us all together and says, here's the information in real time, guys, go for it. So building an ecosystem without collaboration is a recipe for disaster. A little bit about what's happening around. Again, I'm setting the tone for today's event. Bear with me a few more minutes. Ladies and gentlemen in the room, you must know that we have 20,000 problems in Mombasa alone. And we all know that, it's no secret. Be they social, be they economic, be they environmental, but we do have a problem. We have 20,000 problems, but we have 200,000 ideas from 200,000 youth to solve those problems. They are not engaged. They are not gainfully employed.
In fact, the number I got today from statistics is 373,000. That's a huge number, isn't it?
And we have people, we have youth who have ideas, but nobody to really take them through from ideation to execution, to investment, to incubation, to business, and to a flourishing business. Were we prepared with the SGR coming? First major disruption in Mombasa, SGR. Second major disruption, global, COVID. Were we prepared? Were we ready? No, we were not. But are we ready today? In hindsight, they say hindsight is 2020. Are we ready today? I would say we are thinking about it. We are talking about it. Let's be ready about it. We have learned that we need a ready, responsive ecosystem for any sort of emergency that may come about, for any sort of support system we may need to set up. And COVID taught us a lot. COVID taught us to accelerate some of the ideas that we have. Tech innovation in Mombasa is the silver bullet, so I've heard, and so you have heard, I'm sure, to all our pressing problems, social menace, especially to do with unemployment, to do with drug abuse, and to do with all the other social ills we read and hear about every day. Mostly because of lack of gainful employment. So my question is, with such platforms and with such events and with the fantastic work that Swahili Pot and other innovation hubs are doing around the country, are we the next Silicon Valley, or like we are called, the Silicon Savannah? And my answer is no. It is time to stop looking outside the window for solutions. It is time to understand that the problems are local. The solutions have to be local. Yes, we should be in a position to compete globally with the next unicorn idea that might come up from Mombasa, the next Facebook, the next Twitter, we don't know, the next Uber. But we have local problems that are pressing, and the solutions have to be local. We identify with them and we can solve them. So when our youth try to create value, try to bring ideas, try to come to us and tell us this is what we can do, what must we do in return? We must show mercy. How? We must not resist, but we must nurture those ideas. Some of the discussions that have been held in this very room in previous forums have been to spur startup hubs, innovation hubs, infrastructure, investments, incentives to ideators, to those people who come up with great ideas and they don't go anywhere. But mostly what's important in Mombasa is we have amazing community backdrops. And that's what's different from Nairobi, isn't it? Mombasa is communities. And community culture is strong in Mombasa. Why have we not tapped into it? And this is one thing that this platform will help us do. In the coast, we are blessed with a rich historical backdrop of culture, of heritage. We have social fabric. Now, these are difficult conversations we cannot have today because I'm here for welcome remarks, not to give a speech necessarily. But all I need to say is your presence here and all those people who are on Zoom today, and I apologize for the delay to all those Zoom viewers, is testimony to the fact that we are all concerned, we are all worried, and we are all here because of that. So it's quite encouraging to note the following that this event has had today. Meanwhile, the gentleman who is behind me, Mahmoud Noor, we call him Mentor 001, the man behind the team and the team which is behind all of this that you see here today. Mahmoud, keep leading us in the way you have been. He's making some amazing waves, rather, creating some big-time waves amongst the youth, bringing social support systems and creating enabling environments for especially the socially affected youth in Mombasa today. So, round of applause for Mentor 001. I salute him. Meanwhile, it is my duty on behalf of the Swahili Port family to once again welcome you all. Karibuni, shukran, asanteni. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Osman. We salute you too. Thank you for welcoming us and giving that speech. Asante sana. So, Shufan, being reminded that we have youths joining us from other hubs. So we'll just, the technical team, you'll just show us the youths joining us from the other hubs on the screen. Tuwasalimie tukiendelea. Okay, Lena Miselimi will do that bit later on. So, Shufa, where do we go from here?
So thank you so much, Mr. Osman Barani. And I would love now to invite Amina Mahmoud and Hussein Ismail to give a brief introduction about GYN and background of Mercy before we move on to our chief guest. Thank you so much, Amina Mahmoud and Hussein Ismail.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amina Mahmoud. I am a youth advisory group member at Global Opportunity Youth Network, a Swahili Port volunteer supporting programs across Swahili Port Hub. Today, I would like to talk about Global Opportunity Youth Network, and we get to know what the initiative does and where the footprints are. So Global Opportunity Youth Network, as the first word says, global. It's in 6 communities across the globe. We have 2 communities in India, that is Pune and Ramagar. We also have Mombasa in Kenya. We have Etequini in South Africa. We also have a community in Mexico. Yeah, we have Bogota. Thank you for that. And Sao Paulo in South Africa. Thank you. So these are the communities around the globe for Global Opportunity Youth Network. Now, why the initiative? For a while now, youths have been complaining about gaps all through in terms of opportunities. Now, the initiative came in to link up youths with the opportunities, and that's why today we are launching the Mercy, because it's part of what we're trying to do. So we are trying to curb issues to deal with one, the health sector, the creative sector, the hospitality and tourism sector, and also the entrepreneurship sector. We also would like to move in and also talk about the blue economy, because this is also something that is coming up. And we still have youths who do not know what is going on around blue economy. So how do we get to prepare them so that when opportunities comes, they're able to ride on them? So we're also trying to look at that pathway and hoping to serve 373,000 youths who are the opportunity youth. And by opportunity youth, we are talking about youths who are not in education, not in training or employment. So how do we help these youths? Because again, if we look at this number, 373,000, it's very huge. And we get to have a lot of challenges in the community, things to do with drug abuse, things to do with gang violence, because youths are idle in the community level. So how do we get to help them? How do we get to engage them so that they move out of that and make a meaningful life out of themselves? So this is what we are trying to curb in Mombasa. But again, we are not coming in as an independent organization, community, or group, but we are trying to bring in the ecosystem, the stakeholders in this ecosystem. Collaboration, that's what we are trying to preach. How do we collaborate with each and every organization that is in Mombasa so that we get to reduce this number, 373,000? And that's why we have all these organizations today to support Mercy. But we are also trying, I talked about health. How do we bring the whole health ecosystem to support these opportunity youths to be able to thrive in life? Because at any given point, I believe if we work as groups, then we are going to move, as opposed to working alone. Most of the times, we'll have opportunities, but I will not know about. But we'll have a Zina that can tap into that, probably because of the strengths that Hazina has. So how do we collaborate together in Mombasa sub-county, in Mombasa County, to be able to support the opportunity youths? So part of what we are looking at is the collaboration aspect. Can you please go back to the slides that we had before? The one that is having segments. Yes. So when Global Opportunity Youth Network set foot in Mombasa, we were looking at so many organizations assist youths, but then we still do have now the 373,000 who are still nowhere to be seen. Then we sat and thought, how do we get to try and segment these youths so that we try and address needs of each and every youth in the society? So we went down and grouped them into segments. So looking at those who need employment support, how do we support them on that side? Those who need circumstantial support, how do we get to support them? And those who need psychosocial support, how do we get to support? We actually, on the part of psychosocial support, we notice that this is probably one key thing that is leading to all other challenges that are happening in Mombasa. If we look at what is happening right now, and I'll give an example of Likoni sub-county because I come from Likoni sub-county, we have a lot of youths growing up with a single parent. Probably this person was raised by a mother, or one who is raised by a grandmother. So the support that this person is getting is limited if you compare that person to a youth who is raised with both the parents. You know, we have uniquely shared love from both parents, the father and mother. It's never the same living without one of the parents. It's never the same. So most of the times we would grow, but still feel we are lacking something in our hearts. We might not be able to know what exactly is the issue, but at times if you sit and talk, psychologists, psychiatrists will tell you, it's like the only problem you're suffering is a love maybe you're lacking from one of the parents that you didn't have. So most of the issues that are happening, if we trickle down, we'll notice that it starts from the family level. And so that's why we grouped these youths. We'll be able to tackle the issues that they're going through. Now, we have issues to do with low secondary education, salaries, and lack of soft skills, with vibrant but challenged informal and micro, small business environment. We also group challenges into three. We have education levels. If we notice the pattern over there, the people who finish secondary school are only 31% in Mombasa County. So this means where is the rest of the percentage in terms of engaging themselves into meaningful activities? So if we only have 31% finishing secondary school, then this means in future, we are going to have a very big gap. Here we are trying to say, we are looking for a youth who has got a 1-year experience. We are looking for a youth who probably has a degree. But we have a larger percentage that dropped out at secondary school level. So we have a gap. And then what happened next? We source labor from outside the county. We look for youths in the rest of the different counties, around the 47 counties that we have. Then what happens here? Youth feel that they are left out. Now they get into depression and different other activities come up. We look at challenges faced by youth in salary. One of the things that we are faced here is low salaries, soft skills, and family needs, as I had mentioned earlier. So, as we all know, at times, money can put a smile on our faces, right? I hope we all do agree. At times we'll say, oh, I'm working because of passion. But at the end of the day, we also look at that incentive to put a smile on our faces. Yeah. So this is also part of what the youths are yearning for. And thus we are bringing all of us to make sure that we get to tackle this aspect. So we have grouped, looking at societal needs, personal and market. I think we've talked about this previously, so we can just move to, onto this. Now, GOIN Mombasa, we have a theory of change, looking at how do we now overcome the challenges that youth are facing. Our vision here in Mombasa, we are looking at Mombasa with the increased access to youth opportunities, employability, and freedom of expression for the 373,000 opportunity youths in Mombasa. And so our principle is we are looking at equity and inclusion, quality and partnership. So, and that's why, again, we are all here. The impact we are trying to make, we are looking at the youth employment, impact on the direct impact on youth. That is, they get to be trained, they get to be hired, get an income, or those who are trying to come up with small businesses, how do we support them so that they scale that and be able to even employ more youths? Again, we are looking at structures, the ecosystem collaboration. How do we build our ecosystem to strengthen it, to continue supporting these opportunity youths, and the systems as well? The systems in terms of policies. How do we influence policies so that we make sure there is swift movement of activities within Mombasa? So in this, we are trying to train youths to be able to engage themselves in these public participations so that they know exactly what to request or to ask for and how best they can ask for it so that finally they get to enjoy the fruit of their labor. And in our outcomes, in Goal 1, we are looking at collaborative structure, locally driven, aligned, and accountable to the vision. In Goal 2, we are looking at labor market systems. And the Mombasa employment system is aligned to markets and supports youth employability. So here, one of our key agenda is entrepreneurship. Because again, we have a huge number of youth since COVID hit. A huge number of youth started their own businesses. But then at times it just ends at starting or ideas, simply because they cannot move due to lack of information, due to probably capacity in terms of finance. So how do we support them to move? And in turn, continue supporting Mombasa ecosystem to even employ more youths in Mombasa. So to sum up, I would say GOIN is not planning to work in silo. We are planning to work in collaboration with each and every organization and together with the county government and the national government to see that we get to reach the 373 opportunity youths in Mombasa County. And if you feel that the vision that we have has touched you, we welcome you on board and we move to help the youth in Mombasa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Amina. Thank you so much, Amina Mahmoud. Yes, karibu.
Thank you so much for that. Actually, I just wanted to point out the next bit after the introduction is a brief on the Mercy. If you could help us move on to that. Amina has given us an overview of what GOIN is, what are we aspiring, and then I will give a brief on what Mercy is about, the main objective behind that. And from the background that Amina has given us, just to follow up on that, you realize from the statistics that there are a number of businesses who employ, 440,000 employees in Mombasa. But then one of the challenges that we've realized over time, and this is the reason why Mercy comes to being, is the fact that despite this information being available, or being in the diaspora, youth are not able to get some of this information. For instance, you would ask youth who are aspiring to get into business, what are some of the basics in terms of business registration? We have a number of ecosystem players. If you followed very keenly from what our brother Osman pointed out to, the number of programs that are available in Mombasa today, about 20,000. This is huge information. But how do we tap this information in a way that youth will be able to get that information, make use of that information? So ideally, that's the concept behind Mercy. So that is available. That's the kind of information is available. Amina has already alluded to that. We have the blue economy, the travel and tourism, micro and retail, transport and logistics, manufacturing. All these are opportunities that are emerging from a market that is also growing. But then youth do not have these kinds of information. So from the discussions that we were having with the youth, we were trying to see how best do we have that information. A number of programs are moving on. They cannot move to each of these programs, in singly, in isolation, moving on to find out what, say the government programs are. What are we having in terms of financing for youth ventures? What do we require, for instance, in terms of business registration? So the idea behind Mercy was to make sure that this information is brought together in a situation, in a portal, where right from the click of their smartphones, they would be able to see what ecosystem players are there, what do they offer, what are some of the requirements, if they would need to look into that. And thank you to all our partners. Amongst them are those that we have their banners displayed, and many more that have started, working with us to make sure that we harness that information that they have. We are pulling that together in a central repository that youth will be able to log in and have that kind of information. So I wouldn't want to spend much more than this, but basically that's the idea behind Mercy. And at the very tail end of this program, we'll be able to show actually practically how the navigation into the portal would look like. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Ndugu Hussein na Amina. I was having a conversation backstage, Shufa, with DJ Lenium, and I just want to issue a disclaimer that Mercy has nothing to do with gender. He was asking me, why didn't we call it Mahmoud? Why didn't we call it Gilbert Kitio or something of the sort? So it has nothing to do with gender. Please, DJ Lenium.
But as they said, it's a short form of Mombasa Entrepreneurship Resource Center for Youth. So I just want to inform all of you, if you are tweeting or you're online or you're posting anything, we're using a hashtag Mercy Launch, Mercy in capital, and then capital L, and then AUNCH in small letters. Thank you so much, and I'd love to have all of you engage with us online. I know the background information has been very long and maybe too much for you to grab almost everything. Maybe, I'm very sure some of you don't even remember anything that has been said. You only caught GYN, but it's okay. I'd love all of you to take your time later on to go to the online pages and look more into what GYN is. And also with Mercy, after the launch, the link will be shared and you'll see everything about it.
Exactly. And for those who are asking about the Wi-Fi password, it's right there on the sideways for Huta. That is the Wi-Fi password. So you can just log in and probably engage us online on Twitter. Exactly. So at this juncture, I want to welcome this amazing gentleman. He's our chief guest today. So let's put our hands together for the County Commissioner, County 001, Mr. Gilbert Kitio, so that we can officially open this launch. Karibu sana CC.
Very much. Can you hear me? Is my mic loud enough? Now, first of all, I'm very grateful and this team for inviting me to come and grace this very important occasion. Asante sana Mahmoud. Mr. Osman, James, all protocol observed, all the youth present, good morning. I'll not make a speech, but I'll give a talk. I don't know if there's a difference between the two, but I think a talk will be more ideal. As I said, first of all, I'm very humble to be invited to this very innovative place. And I'm happy you have nicknamed Mr. Mahmoud. Is it Innovator 001? Yes, that is wonderful. We have a very marvelous place around here, especially for the youth. The youth of these days are luckier than us when we were youth ourselves. You are very lucky because you are in a world full of innovation. And it's just up to you. Thank you. And it is just up to you to measure up to the innovations which are available. In this country, the disparity between youth from various areas is too wide. And I wish one day, one time, that gap will somehow close up. During our days as youth, in terms of technology, I can say practically there was no technology. You had to literally walk to get information. You had to walk to the chief's office. You check on the notice board if there is anything. You walk to the DC's office. You walk to government offices, private offices. You walk all over looking for information. But nowadays, guys are lucky because technology has made it possible for you to get information at your fingertips. I know, and everybody knows, that being a youth is more of a transition. The youth of yesterday are not the youth of today. Unless, of course, you choose to be permanently a youth. I know there are a few people who will always remain youth by choice. They refuse to grow old. But as a good youth, you should always plan for transition from being a youth into a useful adult. I think that way you'll also be able to give room to others to become youth. Now, if I can talk about the disparity in terms of the youth of our country, the one I mentioned before, that there's a very huge gap. Indeed, it is there. Talk of the youth in urban centers, in cities like Mombasa. We encounter youth like yourselves and those maybe who are watching us on Zoom. Go to some rural parts of this country and you encounter a totally different lot of youth. If you go to some areas of this country and you invite youth to a meeting like this, in some areas they will come with arrows and spears, because that is what they know. They walk around with it. Go to some areas, they will come with the swords and shukers, because that's what they understand. Go to some areas in this country or even this county and you invite youth, 90% of them will come drunk. Because that is what they understand. And if I go back, that's why I said the youth of nowadays, especially the ones in urban centers, are the ideal youth. The educated youth, they have access to gadgets, they can access opportunities, and they can see opportunities. So what remains is for those youth to make the most of it. If you talk to many people, they are always looking for a job. Even those who are working, I'm sure. How many of you are working? By show of hands, the ones in this room. I'm sure you are looking for a job. You must be looking for a job, isn't it? A better one. So it looks like it is something continuous. Looking for a job is something continuous. Even myself, by the way, I'm looking for a job. I want something bigger. It is normal and natural. Even in terms of opportunities, I can tell you for sure, the more opportunities you get, the more you'll be looking for them. That is why when 001 and these partners came up and said, let us centralize this issue of entrepreneurship, where the youth can have a one-stop shop. I think they deserve a clap for that. To Apatia. Because sometimes you go out there, you meet with the youth, they tell you they are looking for a job. They are looking for an opportunity. And maybe they are just seated by the roadside and waiting for it to look for them. Maybe they are in a den somewhere taking alcohol. And they'll tell you, we are looking for an opportunity. I don't know how one can get an opportunity in a drinking den or playing cards and that. Therefore, for the youth, this is a God-given opportunity. Hii ni kama CRB, si ndio? Credit Reference Bureau ya kazi. I think so. In my layman thinking, I think this is a CRB of opportunities, where by a click of button, you can see what is available in Mombasa and even globally. I want to talk to the youth. I talked of transition. Being a youth is a stage to transit. I don't expect that the youth who are here 3 years ago are still around. You need to move. Once you get an opportunity, you get something, please move on to the next stage. Grow and go. There are some who have done that exactly. The government, through various ministries and departments, has failed a lot of opportunities for the youth. Later on, the youth officer will be around here to detail to you the kind of opportunities which are available for the youth, the kind of funds which are there for the youth. The county government, I'm sure they'll tell you the kind of programs they have for the youth. But it will be a shame if the youth of 5 years ago is the one still being told of the existing opportunities. It's like a baby who has refused to grow. They still want to suckle over and over. I know there are so many distractions, mainly to the youth. There are so many, and some of them are so enticing to the extent that it affects the concentration of a youth. Talk of them, talk of alcohol and drugs. Talk of bad lifestyles. Talk of extremism. You know, youth are promised that in the extremism world, there are a lot of opportunities. Surely, if you are convinced that in the world of extremism, there are more opportunities than in the normal world, then I think there is a problem. When you partake of drugs and alcohol, until you cease to be serviceable as a youth, or even as an adult, do you know there are people who have taken drugs and alcohol until they are not serviceable? You know what I mean by serviceable? I mean, you cannot do anything. You cannot be employed. You cannot be trusted with business. Even your relative cannot leave his home for you to take care of. You've become a zombie. For those of you who are employers, occasionally I'm one of them. I'm sure you have witnessed youth coming for interviews. Some of them, they are totally not serviceable. Maybe out of 100, you get like 70. You cannot employ them even for a day. You cannot trust them with money. You cannot trust them even to stay in that office for 1 hour. They cannot concentrate. So as a youth, you need to keep yourself serviceable and ready to be employed, ready to take up the challenges and the opportunities which you will see and which you will encounter. Because there are many. But you must be prepared as a person to absorb some of those things. We are living in a global world. And I think it is high time that the youth think beyond the traditional opportunities. You know, when we were growing up, we only knew a few things. To be employed as a teacher, to be employed as a policeman, to be employed as a clerical officer, to be employed as a nurse, or to become a doctor, or to become a driver. Those are things which the opportunities which were there. But nowadays, the youth must think beyond that. There are other opportunities which are much more paying. And which can take you around the world than these traditional ones. And I'm certain this hub will be able to show you some of the opportunities which are available out there. So please, ready yourselves, grab that opportunity, grow out of the youth, go and offer employment, don't look for employment, be an employer. Don't aspire to be a driver. Aspire to own a fleet of vehicles so that you can employ others. Don't aspire to be a doctor. Put up a hospital and employ doctors and others. Because you are capable. There are a lot of opportunities for the youth. Even within GOK itself. But I will leave that to the other speakers who will come. Even when contracts are being given out, there are contracts specifically reserved for the youth and women. I'm sure you know about it. Sasa tunangojea nini? Si twende kazi. Twende kazi. And we improve. But it's also my wish that we close the gap which is there between the youth in various parts of this country. That is a challenge to the innovators. That is a challenge to partners. How are we able to transform them so that they can fit in this globalized world? We want all of them on board. Right now we are headed into politics, campaigns. Are we able to deny that? No. Cannot. Politicians will look for the youth. Why? One, because they have the numbers. Numbers. Two, because you can easily convince them. Because they are vulnerable. They don't have jobs, they don't have money. Politicians will target them. Good politicians and bad politicians. But don't ask me which ones are good and which ones are bad. So mine is just to ask the youth, please be on the lookout. Follow the law. Let us not break this country because of politicians. When you are applying for your job, you apply it quietly. You are interviewed quietly. Why is it that when politicians are applying for jobs, they are noisy and messy? So it's our duty to tell them not to be noisy and messy, because we still value this country. Otherwise, with those remarks, I'm once more very grateful to Mahmoud and the other partners for this wonderful initiative, the ones you have called Mercy. This will go a long way in assisting both the youth and even the adults to see the kind of opportunities which are there. And with those few remarks, I therefore declare this occasion officially open. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Bwana County Commissioner. Na Bwana County Commissioner, I hope your boss wasn't listening today. Now that you said you're also looking for a job, your colleague from, I think, Rift Valley, Bwana George Natembea, said he's going for the governor's race that side. So now that you're looking for a job, I don't know which job that is. I hope you're not in the race too in 2022. All right. So thank you so much. A round of applause for Bwana County Commissioner for that wonderful speech. And just to recognize the presence of Mr. Fawz Rashid. He's a county CEC member in charge of trade and tourism. Karibu sana, Bwana CEC. Yes, Shufa.
Yes. Karibu sana, and also I have seen other few guests coming in. We also recognize their presence, and I think from then we will allow the chief guests to leave at his own pleasure.
Exactly.
But thank you so much for that beautiful speech that you called a talk.
Asante sana, Bwana County Commissioner. So right about now, I want us to join Ndugu Amani. He's online. He is Executive Director for YEPI, the Youth Empowerment Program Initiative, and also the founder. So Arafat, if he's ready, tafadhali, we can have him online, and then we will have the first panel discussion.
Yes, after Amani Katana.
Yes. So I think the technical team is ready with that. So Amani will be joining us live from Nairobi County. Leniam, are we ready? Yes, so Amani will be joining us, and then we'll hear what he has to say. And remember, Amani is the founder and executive director for the Youth Empowerment Program Initiative. Arafat and the team, if you're ready, will kindly pass it over to Amani for a brief speech, and then the panel discussion, tafadhali, that will be moderated by Rukia. Get ready. That panel discussion. The panelists will include Mr. Maulid Hamis, Mr. Kabadokia Titus. I hope I got that right. Mr. Mwanzia from Highly Collections and Highly Model Management. That panel discussion will be moderated by Rukia Janawala. Yes, the names are giving me a hard time, Shupa.
So I want to again mention that we recognize the presence of the Chief of ICT. Wow. Thank you. Hey, haters. Mr. Anwar, mpaka anacheka. Karibu sana.
Right. So I think Amani is ready. Arafat and the team. We can pass it over to him. Leniam, are we good?
Test. Amani.
Hi, everyone.
Do you mind?
You can take it over from there.
Hi, Arafat, please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you please turn on your video if you don't mind?
Sure. I've been trying to look for a conducive place where I can switch on my video, but unfortunately, this place is very dark, but I will try my best. I hope you can see me.
Confirmed, we can see you, we can hear you. Confirm, you can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Though there is some echo, I don't know where it's coming from.
Please go on. All sorted.
Okay, awesome. I can still hear some echo. Arafat,
Go on. Sorted.
Okay. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can all hear me. My name is Amani Katana. I'm the founder and executive director of Youth Empowerment Program Initiative, and I'm joining you virtually from Nairobi County. I really wish I could be there because you all know that I'm from Mombasa. I was born and raised in Mombasa, but because of work commitment, I'm currently in Nairobi. But thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've learned that we can work from anywhere. And I'm so happy to join you virtually at this launch of the Mombasa Entrepreneurship Resource Center for Youth, Massive. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizers of this event, led by Swahili Port Hub, the Global Opportunity Youth Network, YEPI, and among other organizations that spearheaded the launch of this important information that will be freely available for young people. And this reminds me of last week, I was in Kisumu attending the Lake Basin Innovation Week, and I was discussing about place-based innovation. And place-based innovation is whereby local institutions provide spaces for entrepreneurs to address local community needs. And I'm happy to see that Mombasa is leading the way in terms of the place-based innovation, providing spaces and opportunities for young people to grow and scale their businesses. I have been asked to speak about the role of civic.
high inbound migration, poor education at 31% who have finished high school, 46% finished primary only, 17% with no formal education, and 57% generally on literacy rate, which all contributes to actually the country's economy or poverty rate that lies at 34.8%, which is a very, very huge data that we cannot basically ignore. Now, when you also look at data and the reports that actually show on economic growth of the county, Mombasa's economy is actually growing. However, the GDP is still low, indicating that there is poor health in our economic stability in the county. And there are four major economic sectors that actually dominate our environment in terms of the economic ecosystem or providing job opportunities. That are travel and logistic industry, accommodation and food, agribusiness, forestry and fisheries, and then we have the manufacturing, and all this actually contributes to the country's economy, making up to 74% of the current jobs that are available or are occupied by the people of Mombasa County. Now, being a county that is really highly populated by youth, it is impossible
and online laundry services. And for that market, the physical ones don't offer an indoor service, and that sets us apart. And also the online ones, the market reach in Mombasa is quite minimal. And so we're looking at if we are able to leverage that chance as the first early entrance to the market, we are able to work fast and provide services to our customer. And by the time we have iterated the product, I believe that we will have gained a good market share. Thank you.
Talk about doing a market research and identifying the gap and really tapping onto it. I think this is a great definition that we've had here with Title so far. So how's your experience been so far from when you started to right now?
So it has not been easy, because the first thing, our initial concept was, let's take clothes, let's wash them, and let's return to these people, and they pay. And when we did that, we found out that there are key issues that we need to have. And so that means that what the central place for collecting the laundry, so that will be a physical location, and that is expensive for a small business like that. And another one is the type of clothes that are worn within Mombasa are sensitive to the water that we use. And so when you're taking your clothes to laundry, what has been happening is that you take specific clothes to laundry, and the rest you wash them. And we needed to have that problem. And so we've been facing different issues in terms of logistics, in terms of central point of setting up this, and even financial. And we could say information, but we got quite good information from the Boost to Business program and other programs that we have been into, and that has, in a way, addressed that gap.
Thank you very much. Now I have a question to Maulidi here from my left side, and the question is in relation to the policy, regulations, and licenses. You're in the waste management industry, and I believe there are policies and regulations that actually govern you to be able to operate in this. How was the process of actually acquiring relevant licenses to be able to start your business and also continue? Or you've also talked about being able to export some of your products to Canada that you've been doing for quite a while. Why don't you share to us how your process has been in acquiring licenses, and as well as the process that you had to undergo to be able to export your products to miles and miles abroad to different countries or a different continent?
Okay, thank you, Rukia. When I talk about policy, there is policy of solid waste management, which was developed in the county government. And as an environmental group or a group that deals with waste management, we also participated in the draft of making it the policy. So the policy cannot go by itself. So there is a bill, which the bill has not passed yet, but the policy has passed. So the bill is the one which drives the policy. So in the bill, there's the part of solid waste management of registration. If you want to deal with like plastic waste, like we are dealing, for a private company it's 40,000. For an organization it's 10,000 shillings. So our organization, we wanted to register as a community-based organization, which is 10,000. But with the key identity plastic, because we are dealing with plastic bottles alone, and it's a private entity to give the community status, we have to register for 40,000 shillings. Then there's the export documents and the KRA which comes in there. So when we went to KRA, the documentation was, we started in 2015 as an organization. So the KRA told us for us to get a tax registration letter, we have to backdate and pay from 2015 to date. And per month, we were supposed to pay like 20,000 shillings. So there is a big influence on the policy and the bills for the youth or for the micro enterprise dealing with the waste alone, which hinders a lot of youth to do this kind of business. Because if we have a market outside and it can
you guys to venture or basically just put up a business as a group in poultry?
Okay, as I stated earlier, our community, where I come from, we are faced with different types of jobs. So, as the Tongo Youth Alliance, we decided to venture into agri-business, which is poultry farming, so as we can be different from the other people who are in business out there. We are all aware that many youths are interested in white-collar jobs, leaving other job opportunities which are around them. We have some local resources which we can use to improve our lives, but the youths are only interested in the jobs from the offices, and you can be your own boss. You can self-employ yourself. So we decided to do this business to be a motivating factor to others that we did it. What of you?
Definitely. Now, when it comes to this kind of business, you need to have information or know-how, skills to basically run this business, and probably finances. Do you receive any kind of support in this? And how exactly was your process of acquiring information? Because this is one of the things that Marcy is trying to come on board and actually support.
Okay, when you talk about funds, yes, we did receive support and funds here at Swahili Port through Mentor Mahmoud. Yes, we received the funds that were able to make us run our business, and we also got more information from the government offices, that is the Ministry of Agriculture. They provided us with enough information on how to start and run the business. And as you have said, poultry business is not easy at all. It's not easy. You have to be self-determined. You have to be self-driven. You have to be your own. Sorry. What I mean is you have to be self-driven towards your aim. Another source of information is the internet. Our phones, we used to browse and get more information on poultry farming and how to run the business effectively.
Thank you very much, Mwanidi. Now, before I get to Hayley, after a few questions here with our panelists, we are going to give an opportunity for the audience to be able to ask questions to this panelist, and also the audience that is joining us from Jomvu, Nyali, and Likoni online. You can also ask your questions earlier, so that when we get to that part, we can be able to address them equally. A question to Hayley. I know you're in the creative industry, and you talked about fashion and modeling, and this is a community where that is something that is not very, very common, or is not something that we're used to having most of the people thriving in, as compared to an environment like in Nairobi. So how has your experience been in trying to monetize your skills yourself as a fashion designer or as a model, and at the same time in terms of creating opportunities for other youth out here who are interested in the same field?
I'll say, with my experience, I'm able to in the industry, I've been able to understand what roles are needed to be able to tap into the markets. And when I did the 2017 competition in Lebanon, whereby I was able to represent Kenya, we had a slot whereby we are being trained on how to run your own management and how to be able to tap into the world when you come back. Who are your clientele? Because it's a service that most people don't see that they need it. It's a service that most people don't see that they need it, but it's a service that is used to promote brands. And I would say in the coastal region, when I came in in 2016 through Swahili Port Hub, and I came in as a creative. I've been doing the jobs because from my experience, I've been able to be trained and be able to get the skills that I can channel to the rest of the models. So I realized that there's that gap whereby models are not being trained and they're not being given that information, because in the morning when you wake up, and a friend tells you can be a model, they don't guide you on where you can get this information. So Hayley Model Management is the platform whereby we give information to the models, we guide them, we empower them, and we give them spaces whereby they can go out there and negotiate these jobs on their own to these clients. I don't need to be there for them to get these jobs. And I would say it's an industry in Mombasa because of the tourism industry. It's an industry that as of now, it's coming back because we have been doing our jobs and our clients are appreciating what we are doing. I'll give an example. Today, when you came to Swahili Port for this event, you got an usher that ushered you in here. That is a professional model who has been trained to do that kind of job. So I would say we need to appreciate these people. Let's stop assuming that they are normal people who can do these jobs. Because I've had issues whereby clients are saying they're not going to give these jobs to us. They're going to use their people in their offices to do these jobs. So if you give your office people, what happens to our service? So you need to appreciate that models can do jobs to you, and you need to appreciate that we can deliver because we have management that are doing these jobs and are giving these opportunities to these models.
Thank you very much. Haley here is like the upcoming Victoria's Secret of Mombasa. Yeah, and when we talk about that, and you've talked about some of the challenges that you're facing in relation to that, and we can see that creative industry is not basically just a standalone industry, but all the industries that are in the private sector or whatever trade and services that you're having, we really need the creative people to basically promote our brands and enhance or promoting our ecosystem. And at the same time, how have you been able to access information that can actually support you in the growth of your business, to support you as an individual and the people that you're creating opportunity for? Locally, that is.
So locally, I would say we are getting a lot of support because one, I get to train my models and they're always ready when they're called out for jobs. So clients are able to appreciate that once we give them our profile, they're able to see that we can do this job. It has been a journey of building this brand because this is a brand that started in 2020 and then we had COVID. So during COVID period, what we did is we went more into training and preparing these models to be ready to take up job opportunities. So right now, what we are doing is it's upon me as a management to go to these clients and submit these profiles of the models that I have so that they can see what we can offer. And I would say that in Mombasa, I'm the only management that is running hijabi models. And that is a place that is something that we overlook when you are doing jobs. Hijabi models are models that can also promote your brand. We don't have to segregate them. And I'm also a management that is able to take in PWDs because I've done events whereby I'm dealing with models living with epilepsy, I'm dealing with models living with albinism, and I'm dealing with models who are special. So it's a platform for me that I've been able to appreciate these models that are not given a chance, because when a client comes, they don't even see that plus size model. And for me, I'm able to show them this plus size model is able to do the same job as a normal model can do. And that is something that I'm lucky to get support from Swahili Port Hub, because this is where you are based. If you need Haley Model Management, this is our office. This hall we are using today, this is our runway. This is where we train. So this is a spot that has been able to give me clients and has been able to expose me to the right people for our jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our panelists. Now we can have a few questions from the audience that are here physically, and at the same time to the ones that are joining us virtually from Likoni, Jomvu, and Nyali. I think Collins, you can help us in taking the questions.
Natumai kila mtu ajambo. So kwanza ningependa kutoa shukrani kwa waandalizi wa tamasha hii, ambapo leo tumekuja kufanya ufunguzi wa maktaba ya vijana katika swala zima la jasiriamali. Na pia ningependa kutoa shukrani kwa wafanyabiashara wale ambao wako pale. Nipongezi na kongole kwenu. Na mimi ningeomba kwamba vuguvugu hili ama maktaba hii ambayo leo inavumbuliwa iweze kufanya kazi halisi, especially kwa vijana wengi wale ambao wamesauliwa. Sijaanza kujua mimi natoka Likoni, lakini naona kumbe ni pale wafuga kuku zangu wanatumia vizuri, na leo pia unaweza na ukapata pesa. Sijawahi fikiria kitu kama hicho, so nafikiria ni na vijana wengi ambao hawajapata hizi nafasi. So nafikiria ni kila mmoja wetu ambaye yuko hapa, hii ujumbe ambao wafunguliwa tuweze kukishia vijana wengi waweze kujiunga, kwa sababu vijana kama vile wazungumzaji wengi walivyozungumza kwamba wana tatizo kubwa, changamoto kubwa, na tatizo kubwa sana tuzungumzie masuala nini sijui. Swala kubwa pesa jamaa. Pesa ndio sababisha kila kitu. Tunasingizia vitu vingine, sijui ana afya ya kiakili, sijui ana nini. Jamaa, pesa. Maisha magumu. So nina imani vijana ama jamii kitia pesa mfukoni, trust me, Kenya itaendelea, watu wataendelea, amani itapatikana. So kwa hayo mengi na machache nasema asanteni kwa kila mmoja wenu. Shukran.
Asante sana. I think we can have another question. And just to comment on what he said, I believe that's why Marcy platform was created, because it is a go-to information platform for youth, so that if you want any information in relations to training, let's say Monaid is in poultry, so she needs players that provide training in relations to business. So we have Boost Your Business that is there to do that. If it's in relations to poultry or agribusiness, we have people there. If it's about understanding policies or what governance put in place, we have the county government that is there to be able to provide support, and at the same time the key players that are able to provide funding for such kind of opportunities. So I believe Marcy is an opportunity that we can be able to enhance on that at the same time, and for it to be able to kufika mashinani, that's why the whole collaboration and multi-stakeholders and engagement is put in place to ensure kwamba inaweza kufikia vijana wengi mpaka huko mashinani. Can we have at least a few more questions? And please, Arafat, if you can also take up questions from the people joining us virtually.
My name is Yahya. I work for a USAID funded program, USAID Empowered Youth Program, which is a new program in Mombasa. And when you started, you mentioned that Mombasa economy is growing. And previously, from a presentation by Ismail, he mentioned two factors, which is the effects of SGR and COVID, which is actually affecting Mombasa economy. So maybe I should have, or we should have more explanation or more information about areas that actually shows that the economy is growing, or opportunities, so that when we are working with the youth, we are able also to provide this information so that they can be able to access those opportunities.
Thank you very much. I think when I made that introduction, I said, according to research and reports and data, it shows that Mombasa's economy is actually growing. However, the GDP still shows to be low, and that's why it means that it is still, our economic health is still something that's wanting, that we still need to be able to tap onto. And at the same time, I think we can have a side chat conversation in relations to it in terms of the report and data that is in relation to the information that we're providing here. We can have one question from Esha, and we take a question from the people joining us virtually as we wrap up today's panels.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Esha Muhammad. I am a youth leader. I serve here as one of the youth advisory group members, and also I serve as a director in National Council. First, I am happy to see fellow young people doing so much within their communities, but mine is just to ask, as they are doing all that, what also are they doing to push other young people who are in the same capacity as they are? Wanafanya nini kama wao? For example, wa poultry. Vijana wengine labda ndo wanaanza kufanya poultry. Nyinyi kama nyinyi mbona magwiji hapo, mfanya nini kwa wale wengine? What doing as young people? Thank you.
Anyone who'd like to respond to that question? Yes, hey.
So I'll say, with information, for me as a model and also as a fashion designer, because today I've dressed myself, I've been exposed enough. I've been exposed enough to share this knowledge with the rest of the models. So what I do is I have free slots whereby I call in models for free training sessions. It can be virtually and it can be physically. At the same time, I go to the ground because I realize most models don't even know like there are people who train them. And this is the challenge that I give to any management or agency that is coming up to support models. Let's train our models. Let's equip them with the right skills so that they can take spaces on their own. Because if we stay with that information, we are not helping them. They'll still come back to us and we'll have a saturated ground whereby we are not growing as a team. So for me, I make sure the skills that I have, I'm able to channel them to the rest of the models, whether it's kids or it's someone who is old, because you also get opportunities whereby I need to scout models to do adverts. And I'll be asked maybe for a lady who is 62 years old. Where am I going to get this lady? So I need to have that network to be able to give this person that opportunity. And I'm glad I'm able to have that.
Thank you very much, Hailey, for that. We have someone joining us from Bangladesh who would like to talk today. Arafat, are you able to connect us?
Hello.
Bangala yetu.
From Pwani Youth Network. Who's asking the question? Pwani Youth Network. Pwani Youth Network, you are on mute. Pwani Youth Network, you are on mute if you're speaking. Luwei from Pwani Youth Network, please confirm you are on mute in case you're speaking. Pwani Youth Network, confirm.
Okay, I guess because of...
Okay, kwa majina naitwa Esther Mudoni John from Changamwe Sub-County, Chairperson Changamwe Youth Caucus. Mine is a concern. Concern ya kwanza, first I want to recognize my boss, Yahya, namona in the house. Then I have to recognize Boss Mahamud. My concern is about youth empowerment. My request to Mahamud, tungeomba hii program ikuje na swala la kusaidia vijana wakati wana travel out of country. Unajua changamoto huwa inakuja pale kwa mambo ya commission. So kwa sababu hii program ina target youth, pia wa chip in, kwa sababu sio wote wanaweza kufanya biashara. Another concern, youth sio wote wanaofanana. Sometimes when you launch activities like this, you have to consider wale ambao wako mashinani labda hawaelewi masuala ya kizungu, unajua inakuwa changamoto kwao. Yeah, I'm talking as mashinani youth. Thank you.
I think, Mensa, that is a point to note that was directly addressed to you. Okay, so thank you very much for the questions that were put forward. And so with the ongoing initiative, Marcy, as a youth looking to improve your livelihoods with the different ventures that you've actually put across, what message would you like to emulate to your youth to be able to enhance the essence of resilience or also practice whatever they're doing?
Okay, I think as youths we have to have personal initiative na pia kujituma, cause most of the applications za kufanya biashara ama platforms siku hizi zimerahisishwa, zimekuwa online. So kama vijana hatutaki kujituma, so hatutafikia mahali ama hatutafikia malengo yetu mahali tunafaa kufika. cause these things are easy. Mtu akutumia link ya apply for a business or for any opportunity, please do apply. Sisi vijana tuko na ile shida ya kwamba ukitumiwa link unaona hii ni shida sana, mimi siwezi ingia online. Tunataka tu kubet na kufanya hizo vitu zingine. But right now there are a lot of platforms. Pili, vijana kuna youth fund, but watu wanaona ule ugumu wa kwenda kwa offices za youth fund kwenda kuapply hizo pesa ili kuzipata. Like this year, like in March, kulikuwa na groups ziliitwa zende zikaparticipate kwa hiyo mambo ya application ya youth fund. But walikuwa na ugumu sana, walikuwa wanaona ni shida kwenda ku print documents, kuandika, kujaza, then kuzipeleka kwa the offices. So I was there as naweza sema kama kiongozi wa vijana huko, kuwasaidia from the starting point ya kuprint hizo documents, kuapply ili niwawezeshe waweze kupata hizo pesa ili waweze kufanya biashara zao. Pia kama kuna watu wanaweza saidia vijana to this point, itakuwa vizuri sana, kwa sababu vijana najua hawataki kujituma. Unaelewa? Pesa ziko, lakini hatutaki kujituma kwenda kufikia zile pesa. Hatutaki kujituma kuingia online ku apply for this kind of opportunities to be able to influence other youths and to be able also to put yourself in the limelight, because hii biashara mimi nilianzisha kitambo na mpaka sasa hizi nimekuwa kwa limelight ya as in I get opportunities. Unaelewa? Like last month nilikuwa the first winner wa Climathon, na nilikuwa na compete na people from China. Unaelewa? And it was all about reusing plastic waste. So hizo opportunities ziko nyingi sana. So vijana tujitume na tutafika mahali ambapo tunataka. Asante.
On the part of information, I'll tell you, Swahili Pot has been leading in making sure that youth have given that space to just come here and learn. I participated in the Tony Elomile Foundation program, but I wasn't able to go up to the last stage of getting the grants. But that is information that I was able to get from here. So I would say with Swahili Pot, we have info sessions whereby youths come in and they are able to be taken through that process of applying for these grants. The grants are there, but we don't have someone to tell you this belongs to this sector, because even most people don't even know that creatives have grants that are given to them for free, but we don't know that. So with this umbrella of Swahili Pots, we are able to know that, because even for me, I'm also learning. It's not like I've been exposed that much to be able to know that. So with the knowledge that I'm learning, I'm also able to channel it to the rest. And this is something I'll urge I'll call them our clients. Use our services to grow your brand. Trust us and we can deliver our best. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm now going to speak in Kiswahili. Aya, yangu ni, we are all aware, yani sisi wote tunajua the problems that are facing our societies. Sisi wakaazi ndo tunajua matatizo ambayo yanatukumba. Hasa sisi kama vijana, twafaa tusimame kama vijana na tufanye utafiti, tujue eneo letu la kumbwa na tatizo kama hili na hili na hili na hili, na tuweze kupata njia ambazo zitatusaidia kukabili matatizo hayo. We are the change. You are the change. I'm the change. Yes. And there's a saying that goes in Swahili. It says, penye nia pana njia. If you have an intention of doing something, then believe in yourself. Everything is possible.
So with what they've said, I'll just finish up by saying that we need to celebrate our small wins. And so in business and in growing a venture, you find out that there in every stage that you're growing, whether you are starting from an idea stage, you are at a seed level, or you're getting another round of investment, there are challenges that you face at every particular level. And for you to see and to measure like a growth from the time you started to where you are, you need to take these small wins seriously. You need to celebrate them. And secondly is persistence, because nothing is created easy. In the entrepreneurship world, you will never say it's a straight path. and it will never be, there's nobody who has like figured it out to give you a template or a blueprint for you to follow. So you have to make sure that it's somehow a lonely journey that you need to intentionally walk it through. And so for that, I'd say that information allows us to articulate. It allows us to bring the ideas that are inside of us to a reality. And so access to that information is important, and it will enable us as business to even articulate our problems globally and even nationally. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my dear panelists and audience, for having this amazing discussion. And it is really, as a theme, a turning point to youth entrepreneurship. And I believe Marcy as a platform will be able to create more opportunities for us to access information in terms of funding, supports, and various policies that actually govern it. I received a note here that I have 2 questions from the people joining us virtually. From Kwacha and another one from Manyata. I believe this is from Likoni. Okay, I know we've already had our parting shots, but since they're joining us virtually, let's give them an opportunity to ask questions. Arafat?
From Manyata. Question ready? Watch Africa, please be ready. From Manyata, confirmed.
Hello, Arafat.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm from the society, an entrepreneur from Likoni, and also working with South Africa. I just wanted to know the approach that GOYN will be taking towards this entrepreneurship journey. Let me speak in Kiswahili so that I can air my points, because the next point that I'll be saying concerns the language barrier and dynamics. Tunaona kwamba katika statistics zenye Amina Mahmoud amesema hapo, kuna asilimia ya, I think that 1%, if I'm not wrong, ya vijana hawamalizi form 4. Na kuna statistics pia ya namba kubwa ya vijana wenye wakimaliza form 4 hawaendi college ama university ama technical schools. Na approach ambayo nimeona ya haya mafunzo ama hii ni session ya leo, watu wanaongea Kizungu, watu wanaongea Kizungu. Sasa sijui kwa upande wenu mnachukulia vipi hilo swali, kwa sababu kama tuna target mtu mwenye labda alidrop shule form 2, nafaa tumfuate katika hali zake, ya kwamba ni mtu labda hatoelewa Kizungu ama hatoelewa vitu ambazo sisi tunajaribu kusema. Na pia jambo lingine ni kwamba katika presentation na hiyo panel sijaona watu labda tumechukua kijana kutoka Kongowea, tumechukua kijana kutoka Ujamaa, tumechukua kijana kutoka Shikadabu ama Kisauni, kwa sababu hawa ndio walengwa. I believe that is what you are wants to do. Na kama hawa ndio walengwa wetu, presentation ingefuata hali yanze leo, kwa sababu ningetegemea kwamba personally, this is a personal opinion, ninge expect kwamba tungepata vijana hapo presentation ya kijana, tupate kwamba mtu amesema mimi ni kijana kutoka Kongowea na mza tomato. Tumsikie from there, tuta from the base ya kwenda mashinani na hii approach yetu entrepreneurship. So labda mmechukulia vipi ndio swala, lakini mimi niona kwamba the people that want to in this approach or in this endeavor ya entrepreneurship to people who are unemployed or dropouts, they have not been covered in a way that I expected, kwa sababu ingekuwa wako hapo ili tuweze kuwasikia, kwa sababu hata hapa wenye tuko nao I believe it's a representation of people from the community. See the real people hapa ni tumefanya tu kuwakilisha. Kama mimi niseme I'm entrepreneur, a graduate, but si wale walengwa wenye tuna intend ya kwamba ni mtu alidrop shule ama ni mtu labda aliacha darasa la 7 15 years ago. So hiyo ni kitu ambacho ningependa kujua, je, GOYN imepangaje kwa sala la hapo. Then kitu ya pili ni the approach. Unaona, I think say is people one of the part of government, that is from the Ministry of Youth, from ICT, yenye pia imekuwa ikipeana grants kwa vijana waweze kufanya entrepreneurship, waweze kujiendeleza, but those because as a mentor, that is mentor our entrepreneurs. Na wengi wao ukienda kwa mashinani unapata hiyo pesa walikula, wanapo 40,000, 20,000 ya kwanza, 20,000 ya pili, na pesa wanakula. So as GOIN, are you planning to give technical skills, that is entrepreneurship, ama mnapanga kupeana paka grant? Na kama mnapeana grant, approach yenu itakuwa vipi? Because vijana wengi wakapata ile smart as mtu ana shida, ukimpatia pesa without any restrictions, without any binding contract ya hiyo pesa, kama ni pesa yake, mwisho wa siku pesa atakula. So sijui GOIN mmejipangaje kwa swala kama hili la kwamba mtapeana entrepreneurship training, na ikija swala la kwamba mnapeana pesa mtu kuendeleza biashara yake, ni mechanism gani mtatumia za kumake sure kwamba wewe ni mtu hii pesa yake kweli, lakini tumemwekea vigezo ambavyo vitamfanya hii pesa iweze kumfaidi kwa biashara? Swali langu lilikuwa tu hilo. Asante.
Thank you very much. I believe we have Alice from GDI, that is the team that is actually
that's it from Econ. Thank you.
Would you like to respond to it right now or later when you're actually addressing the audience?
Thank you, Raja. We have a question from Watcher Africa. If we can go ahead and ask the question.
Okay, thank you.
One of the things we want to do is make sure we agree on what we mean by entrepreneurship. A lot of, when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's for the select few that are kind of the future Facebooks of the world. Whereas the reality is that the majority of entrepreneurship is the micro businesses, the small businesses in the communities, the informal businesses in the grassroots areas. So one of the key things is recognizing that and creating supports for those kinds of entrepreneurs, which are the majority. And so as GOIN, what we're going to try to be doing is mobilizing funds and even changing how those funds are distributed so that they go to the majority and the micro entrepreneurs that are out there. We're working with the county revolving fund. We're working with national funds as well. So there's government funds that are available. How can those be better structured? So that's a big piece of supporting from the GOIN side, try to really mobilize financing to get seed capital and working capital into the hands of micro entrepreneurs. The second is having appropriate business supports. So how do you really think about not creating the most beautiful pitch deck that's going to go for, venture capitalists, but how do you really think about who's going to buy your product, how you're going to sell them? Can you make enough money per month to run your business? How do you do your accounting? How do you get your product in the morning and sell it during the day and return your financing? Very, very important. The third area I'll mention is, and I'll mention this a little bit in my closing remarks, but entrepreneurship is very hard. And so how do we have role models like we have here as speakers? How do we have mentors to guide entrepreneurs through their journeys? So really supporting them in that way, because it's a difficult process day in and day out to really run a business. So those are just a few of the things, alongside as a community talking about what are the challenges in registration, in taxation, all of the things that you've mentioned. So market access, communications, connecting to who's going to buy your product, thinking about setting up your business and being able to maintain that over time. So those are just a few of the things. All of this will be on the Mercy platform, and we're hoping to do it as part of all the hubs across Mombasa County. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alice, for the response. Back to Arafat, we have one last question before we end this panel discussion.
Kwacha Africa, are you ready? Please confirm.
Yes, we are ready.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, my name is from Coach African. My question goes to, there is certain programs that were launched previously during the COVID period.
Wait a bit. Go on, go on. Sorry for that.
There were certain programs that were launched during the COVID pandemic, and there are certain programs that I also took part in conducting business survey, which was conducted by Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry. But my learning, according to my research that I did and my findings, there is
line is not clear. Your line is not clear. There's some background noise. Could you please try to tell the people in the background to keep quiet? Thanks. Go on.
Okay. Okay. Then, after conducting the survey, I came to realize that youths are facing a lot of difficulty in starting their business. This is in the matter of getting license and business permit. And I would like that, according to my follow-up to this program, I find it gives the youth a lot of chances to advance in various ways. And I would like to request that it would be good for us to find ways in conducting meetings with the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry, the national government, to find ways in modernizing the permits and the business license in order to give youth several chances in investing in the business. Some of us don't have the huge amount in starting huge business, but we all start from somewhere to reach in another level. So that was my request. How do you start with these government organizations in order to get to reach a lot of youth who are deep in the machinery areas, and how do you get to communicate? What lessons or meetings do you conduct with these youths in order to enable them understand the programs that are being conducted through this program?
Okay, my name is Duke Mugaka Osoro. Okay, yangu ni kwamba ningependa kuuliza swali kwamba katika mradi ningependa kuwapongeza sana GYN na all the stakeholders kuja ili kuweza kusaidia vijana. Okay, the issue is katika vijana kuna baadhi ya vijana ambao wamesoma na katika ule ujuzi wao ambao wameusomea wakienda kutafuta kazi wanaambiwa wakuwe na experience, maybe 2 year experience ama 3 years experience. Sasa kama hajapata ile experience bado ndo amemaliza college ama university, kama GYN na all the stakeholders ambao wanataka kusaidia youth kwa create database ambayo itatusaidia. Now, are you going to help us? Another thing about entrepreneurship, kuna some youths mashinani ambao wamehamasishwa na kuwa mentor about entrepreneurs, how to start a business. Sasa issue ni kwamba wamefundishwa but hakuna mtu wa kuwashika mkono. Sasa watasaidika vipi wakati wamepatiwa masomo yeti hakuna mtu wa kuwashika mkono? Sasa what are the plans and all the strategies mnataka kuja nazo ili kaweze yule kijana ambaye yuko mashinani akaweze kusaidia? That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it from our end. We can stop the question.
But this is one of the things that she'll be able to address by the end of this forum during her final remarks speech. With that, and thank you very much. It was quite an honor to be your moderator today and representing the youth on this platform. Thank you very much, my dear panelists, for your contribution and sharing of your journey, success, and giving out a message of resilience to most of our youth out here. And to our audience and all the guest speakers and distinguished guests, thank you very much for having us. And we're looking forward to more engagements and making Mercy a go-to platform to enable better opportunities for most of our youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you.
Right. A round of applause to them again. I know it is Shufa's best time of the program. That is tea break. Before the tea break, I want to welcome Mentor, Karibishe Waziri Fauz.
Morning. Thanks. Hello. Yes. So first is to thank you for being very patient. We wanted to make some slight changes, but before the changes, we did not want to disrupt what is happening here. So we also have amongst us the government spokesperson and the regional commissioner, Mr. Lungata, and also the Media Council CEO. But they raised a very important point. We actually have more people outside than inside, and we have the COVID variant. So what we will do, instead of them coming here, I've asked them to remain at the boardroom. We finish the panel. We hear Waziri of Tourism and Trade, and then the panel will be done for 20 minutes. Then after that, we'll break. I don't know, we'll be taking tea plus lunch. And then they wanted to speak to young people. We will move down to the amphitheater, and then we will move the PA system and everything else. Then the young people can continue their conversation with the leaders there, because I didn't want us to interrupt what was happening here. So I will invite the Anwar. I hope you are not leaving. Yeah. So I will invite the CEC for Trade and Tourism, Mr. Paul Rashid. The department has been a great partner for Swahili Port Hub. And then after that, we'll go to the panel, and then we'll have like a summary for like 5 minutes. Then we will break for tea before we go down to the amphitheater. Thank you. Karibu Waziri.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'll start by a small quote that says, "The power of the youth is the commonwealth of the entire world. The face of the young people are the faces of the past, our present, and future. No segment in this society can match with the power, idealism, enthusiasm, and courage of the young people." This quote couldn't better manifest our hopes and dreams of the youth. Indeed, they hear the vision of invention and growth for the prosperity and stability of the society. As guardians, mentors, and leaders, we have the obligation to identify, nurture, and enhance capabilities to our youth in diverse spheres and exploit possibilities of their excellence. Today, we launched the Mombasa Entrepreneurship Resource Center for Youth Mercy. I feel proud to witness this achievement that is bound to positively impact our youth. May I take this opportunity to congratulate the fraternity of Swahili Hub Foundation and the development partners for coming up, for creating an instrumental platform that will empower our youth and appreciate information on matters of entrepreneurship. Mombasa stands as a formidable, competitive business hub, given the wide-ranging resources it possesses, including modern infrastructure, which include the fiber optic cables, natural assets, human resources, among others. This feature provides numerous opportunities for purposeful growth and development. As a county government, we have endeavored to support entrepreneurship in the county by creating a conducive business environment through automation of various services. Under the Ease of Doing Business program, the deliveries include online processing of the single business permit, fire certificate, liquor licensing, and advertising permit. This achievement created a lot of efficiency for businesses by reducing the cost and time of processing licenses. It minimized corruption by reducing human interaction in processing of the permits. It reduced errors and enhanced profiling of businesses for improved service delivery, further achieved by increased registrations of businesses and revenue. To encourage entrepreneurship, the county government earlier this year, in 2021, introduced the issuance of 30% waiver for selected categories of newly established small-scale businesses. The target beneficiaries for these programs were women, youth, and people with disabilities. Additionally, to minimize the cost of doing business, we have unified charges for businesses with multiple activities, since charging each activity separately would be disadvantaged in terms of cost and time processing of the permits. To expand on and attract more businesses, the county government constructed over 300 modern stalls in various town centers. We built new facilities within the local markets and renovated existing ones to create more space and additional entrepreneurs and improve the environment that they operate in. Examples of these trades facilities are the Kongoware Market, Shika Adabu, Chani, and Makinan Market. The Mombasa County Government, we desire to see more productive and flourishing economy. And we believe it is the strength and enthusiasm of the young citizens of this county that will enable this realization of this great vision. The county government of Mombasa supports Mercy initiative and will work together with the Swahili Hub Foundation and its development partners to ensure the success of this noble program. We are ready and willing to forge partnership with local and international organizations for the purpose of empowering the youth of Mombasa. Let us therefore encourage the young people to engage Mercy platform and effectively use this to its fullest exploit. To fully exploit our resources and entrepreneurship and other creative purposes, I wish to conclude by thanking the founder of the Swahili Hub Foundation with its partners for this purposeful initiative in creating Mercy and organizing this event. May I also appreciate the stakeholders who participated in various ways to make this program and event possible. Before I end, I'd just like to say that I know I am the Minister for Trade, Tourism and Investment, and we do have the Department of Youth, Gender and Sports. I just want to assure you of my commitment. A lot of this includes trade and investment. And I want to assure you that my office, I encourage an open door policy. So you don't have to have an appointment. You don't have to fear coming to me thinking, oh, that's the minister, I can't access him. You can access me at any time. I'm not a politician. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll try my best to do whatever I can for your success. All businesses start as a dream. You got to make your dream come true. And I'll help you wherever I can. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Fawz Rashid. So as we heard, we were to break for tea right now, but unfortunately we are not. So we will have our second panel discussion going on before we break so that we can change locations, because of course of the numbers, we are more than what we expected, and that is a very good sign. So I hope all of you will keeping on for the second panel discussion, and I would love to invite the moderator for the second panel discussion, Daisy. Thank you so much, Daisy. And I would call out the panelists for the second panel discussion. Lilian Wambua, Evelyn, Zayad. Thank you so much. You're looking so beautiful. Thank you so much, Daisy. You can call out your panelists and introduce them.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Fa, for that introduction. I know my panelists are here and they're ready. As they're coming to have a sit, recognizing we have Lilian Wambua from Boost Your Business. We have Evelyn Gare from KPA. We have Mercy from AEC Kenya. We have Saeed from Hazina. We have Freudis, thank you so much, from TechBridge. And finally, we have Njera Mbetsa from SEA. We're getting a seat for you, sir. So for this particular panel discussion, and before we dig in deeper, to everyone watching us from the different hubs, watching us live, my name is Daisy Chasang. I am the Creative Pathway Lead, GOYN, working closely with opportunity youth who are keen to venture into the creative space. And for this particular discussion, we are shifting gears and talking to the stakeholders. The partners who have the information. From the presentation that we received earlier about Mercy, one of the long-term vision for Mercy is to support youths access appropriate resource within the Mombasa ecosystem. You're looking from mindset change all the way to growth stage. And I know as partners sitting on this panel, you are supporting at one level or the other. You are providing co-creation support. There are accelerators here. There is advisory support and on different business stages. Like we've heard from the youth panel that just ended, whichever phase they're in business, they're facing something totally different. How can we as stakeholders, how can we as partners come together, collaborate, coordinate, and provide this information? And before we dig in deeper about that topic of discussion, I want to give our panelists a minute to introduce themselves and the amazing work they're doing in the organization. I know we have abbreviations, so good to share with the youths all the way from Likoni to know what KPA means, what NSEA means. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lilian Wambua. I am the operations manager of Boost Your Business. And Boost Your Business is an incubation program that is based at Close the Gap Hub. What we do is that we incubate small businesses and idea stage businesses with a focus on them by the time they finish our program, having a positive financial impact, social impact, and most importantly, a positive environmental impact.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Evelyn Gare. I work with KPA, and KPA actually means CAP Youth Empowerment Institute. We are a Kenyan NGO, and we started operations in Kenya like 10 years ago. That's 2010. And the work we do basically is skilling young people and connecting them to livelihood opportunities. And we do that by, skilling them in the TVET sector. That's the skills that are in the TVET space, say hairdressing, most especially like what the young people were talking about here, hairdressing, electrical, and all that. And then we connect them to employment opportunities that they're able to help themselves. And we work with young people in 3 livelihood ways. One is full-time employment. There are those ones who will train, for example, hospitality. We'll get them jobs in the hospitality space. But there are those ones who will actually want to be entrepreneurs. So that's another line. We have full-time entrepreneurs, and others go for further studies. So far, KPA has trained over 80,000 young people directly, but indirectly, we are working with TVET space government-owned organizations, around 150 right now. So I think we'll continue with the conversation.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Fredis Archer. I'm the Chief Operation East Africa for TechBridge Invest. Thank you for inviting me. To introduce TechBridge, I would just like to tell you a short story. A story about a boy of 18 from Norway that came to Mombasa in 1988. His name was Eivind Ridang. He totally fell in love with Mombasa and the people here. But he was very saddened by the lost opportunities here in business, and he swore to come back one day. He became a very successful businessman in Norway and ran about 7 to 8 tech companies. And I was very lucky to meet him in 2015, where I supported him to realize his dream. And in 2016, we were here and we had our first TechBridge challenge with youth in Mombasa to train them and maybe look for business opportunities together with the youth. Sadly, Eivind passed away earlier this year, but the vision is very much alive. And together with our partner, Argidius, we're very happy to have now very solid entrepreneurship programs, both incubation and acceleration, based in the Beach City Mall. And our vision is to create jobs and impact at the coastal area in Mombasa. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zayad Said. I'm the CEO of Hazina Group of Companies. We are a group that supports marginalized women and youth through accessibility of financial and non-financial services. We do this by providing microcredit facilities, interest-free microcredit facilities to groups of women and youth who are out of formal employment, out of school. So this, I believe, is what GOIN call opportunity youth. Yeah, so we work with opportunity youth and opportunity women. And we also have a business accelerator program where we support startup businesses by providing business skills to effectively run their businesses. We also provide mentorship support and investment financing of up to $3,000. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Masiwa Fula. I work for African Entrepreneur Collective Kenya. African Entrepreneur Collective is a business consultancy company based here in Nyali. We are located in Kenya across 4 locations, and also we have a presence across East Africa in Rwanda and Ethiopia. What we do is that we provide business advisory services geared to grow businesses, geared to make businesses sustainable, and also we provide financing services, investment opportunities, and our aim is to be able to work with businesses to create employment opportunities, at the same time be a partner in this ecosystem, collaborating with other organizations to create the desired impact. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Njera Mbetsa. I work for an organization called the Micro, Small and Enterprise Authority, that is MSEA. I am the County Enterprise Development Officer in charge of Mombasa and Kilifi. The authority is in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Enterprises, National Government, and its main mandate is to develop, promote and regulate the MSC sector. It was enacted by an Act of Parliament of 2012, Act number 55. We do coordination, we regulate and also register MSCs, whether in groups or in individuals. We also do capacity building, we do entrepreneurship training, and in conjunction with the World Bank project, which is in the Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, we run a component on grants for the youth. We give youths grants up to 40,000 so that they can start or maybe enlarge their businesses. And we have been in the process since 2018, and the program ends in 2022 December. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm ready to answer your questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Amazing work, amazing initiatives from each and every organization here. And from the youths that have just shared their feedback earlier, they're saying, we want to know more, we want more support. How do we know that Hazina has this particular program? How do we know, Sarah, this is an amazing project going on? How do I know as a youth all the way in Likoni, how do I access this information? And that is where Mercy comes in. But then the other question for us as stakeholders, the question of collaboration. Mercy cannot exist on its own. We have to work together. We have to share data. We have to share information. We have to share opportunities. Youths are using various platforms to access this, from WhatsApp, from where they hang out with their friends, from online, from even coming to hubs like Swahili Pot. But how do we come together and say we are supporting this platform and we are sharing all the initiatives that we have here? And with that in mind, you see the enthusiasm they have. The young people are starting businesses. Against all odds, we're hearing about poultry farming, going all the way to the county office to ask for that information. Mercy is coming in and support. As ecosystem players, as partners who've been there, we've put together initiatives. How are you recommending that we continuously collaborate and support each other? This is for all the panelists here, apart from you, sir. Very specific question for Msea from the government. But I want to hear from Lillian all the way to Mercy. From your different organizations, how would you recommend we continuously work together and continuously collaborate?
Allow me to take us back a little bit, because it's important as young people we understand why all these organizations represented here exist. Taking the example of the poultry business that you just mentioned of, I'm going to imagine this is a broiler poultry business. So when you're having a broiler, when you're trying to set up a broiler business, you have to create the structure first. And when you create that structure, you have to go and source for either sawdust, or you put in also the lighting, you get the booster, you get the food, and that structure itself is called an incubator. And why do we put the chicks there? We put the chicks there because that incubator creates the right environment for the chicks to be able to mature into chickens. Is it possible to rear the chicks outside of the incubator? It is possibly possible. But if you do that outside, the conditions are harsh. The possibility of that chick dying is even greater. The possibility of it disappearing as it wanders away, it's even greater. So we as incubators exist to create value. Yes, you can decide to run a business outside of an incubator, outside of these support organizations, but you're going to have a more difficult time when you're outside. But if you anchor yourself to one of these business support organizations, then we can spearhead your growth. You can spearhead that idea from where it is right now to where you'd want it to be. We can help you eliminate all the mistakes that you make in between, because we've supported other businesses before. So if you're anchoring yourself in an incubation program or in an acceleration program, the possibilities of you succeeding are higher. So that's why we're not just here to sit. When Mercy is launched, you need to find out what is there. Come to us, come and ask, how can I benefit? How can I be part of the program? You can know we can exist, but you can be part of why we exist. Now back to your question, how have we been solving the problem of information gap? So the thing is, even us as Close the Gap, as Boost Your Business, we are a new incubator. And one of the biggest challenges we've found is there's a skills gap. Yes, we are disseminating information. We are saying we are recruiting for a new cohort, but our information is just getting to the surface. It's like kama maji kwa and then we are pouring the oil and it's just staying on top. So it's not getting to the opportunity youth, because the opportunity youth ako chini kabisa. So how we've been able to try and mitigate these challenges through partnerships. And partnership with almost all the organizations around this panel, we've partnered with them. So when we are sourcing, we are partnering with youth groups that are in the communities. We are going to ward leaders. We are telling them, we are going to religious leaders. This is what we are trying to offer. So we are trying to remove where we are the ones sourcing. When we are the ones sourcing, we'll just source at the cream because we know TUM, we know Pwani University. Now they use that are not really opportunity youths per se. But when we are sourcing together with our community, I believe Waziri mentioned earlier that our backdrop is communities. So we are going to the communities, we are trying to talk to community leaders for them to help us source. And then after they've come through our incubation program, now we become a funnel to them going to Hazina, to them going to TechBridge. So we've created that pipeline because each of us as stakeholders have a unique proposition that we are offering to this youth, and they can go through us. It's not like they're doing the same program here. They can do incubation at Boost Your Business and then go for acceleration at Hazina and go for acceleration at maybe TechBridge. So through partnerships and through just each stakeholder clearly defining what their value proposition is, and then now the youth clearly understanding what's the value proposition of Boost Your Business, what's the value proposition of TechBridge, what's the value proposition of AEC. Where do I start? You have to start here to get there because you cannot jump straight to AEC. She just mentioned that they do business acceleration and growth. So you have to understand the value proposition of all of us because we as support organizations have already clearly defined what we are doing. So the youth also need to do a little bit of research, and even now with the massive platform, that information is going to be available. Then see where are you in that chain and where can you plug yourself in to be able to get the best value. Thank you.
All right. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the people who came up with the mercy because it has come at a point when we actually need it. The young people need it, the opportunity youth need it, the women need it. And having got that out of my my system, I wanted to talk about what this mercy is coming to solve vis-a-vis what we do as CAP Youth Empowerment Institute. And as I understood your question, Daisy, it's how can CAPIA, partner with Mercy and the young people to see how, to make Mercy successful and the young people get the opportunities they need. CAPIA works with the vulnerable young people, and we work with them, as I said earlier, in training them and in skilling them and getting them to the employment space. So Mercy comes in very, strategically for us because it puts all the opportunities we are telling the young people to get in the Mercy platform. So I'd actually encourage all the other players to actually join the people who are coming up with the Mercy, and just put in the opportunities there, and the young people to also interact with the opportunity, to also interact with what is available in the Mercy. But I'd like to reiterate that as CAP Youth Empowerment Institute, you're going to support the Mercy platform to ensure that it's going to work, because when you look at the Kenyan economy, just a minute to look at the ecosystem, the Kenyan economy has been on a growth trajectory. But when you look at it, I was looking at the statistics in Kipra, it's only two sectors that have been bringing this growth trajectory. That's the mobile communications and the financial services. And these ones, it's because, quote unquote, there are so many informal jobs right there that have been created by these two sectors. But when you look at agribusiness and manufacturing sector, there's been a little bit of stagnation. So I am looking at the Mercy opportunity as a way that we can try and improve all the sectors and provide the opportunities for the opportunity youth to come together. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, so how do we collaborate? How should we collaborate in the ecosystem? For TechBridge Invest, it's part of our strategy to collaborate. But first, I would like to say that when we came here 5 years ago, the ecosystem was nearly non-existing. And I felt that also because we are private sector led, we were met with a little bit suspicion. They were thinking, who are these people that want to invest? Do they want to steal our ideas? Do they want to take our profit? But I think the last 5 years, the ecosystem has evolved a lot. More partners and organizations has come here. And I think everybody understands, or I think everybody is beginning to understand that the private sector and investments is needed, and that approach, yes, you know, the impact social entrepreneurship is very important, especially early stage, because there's so many unemployed youth here that could be able to find themselves self-employed, for example. But also there are talented youth here. For example, the Technical University of Mombasa, they have, you know, good ideas, and they also deserve to get their ideas supported. And we are here to support those that have already a prototype. So we are therefore very, very happy to partner with Crosswise Works and Lillian here, Boost to Business program, to then take over those that have been incubated early stage, pick up those that maybe have a scalable business idea and take them further up. And then with our acceleration program, we really want to partner with others, like the AEC. I would really love to talk to you afterwards and see how we can collaborate. I'm sure you can support our startups through services, and any others in the ecosystem. We are very, very happy to work with them. And I could also mention that we are going to have some ecosystem events run by us. And the first one will be a new tech session, hopefully next week or the week after. And we feel that there's a lack of new tech knowledge in the ecosystem. I'm very, very happy to partner with Andela to do that session. So more about that later. Thank you.
Thank you, Freydis, for that.
Thank you. I think to answer that question, I'll start by telling everyone that information, as we all know, is power. For 10 years. And we didn't have tech platforms like Mercy. So what we've been doing is we've been going down to the field. Yeah, we have field officers all over the coastal region. And they've been going down to the field, talking to the local administration, going to the market centers, just trying to create that awareness. So I think Mercy is a platform that, with the current generation, the generation TikTok and the generation Instagram, would be able to benefit more because we are always on our phones. So instead of just looking at videos on TikTok, we could be looking for opportunities on Mercy. So I think this is a good platform, and all the partners or all these programs, I believe, should be part of the platform, and this is how we're going to support young people.
Thank you so much for that question. We'll start by saying all of us, different stakeholders, the reason why we are here is that we exist to solve a problem. We are looking for different sets of entrepreneurs. So we are not competing. We are working together, but for different groups. You know, we have the incubators at idea stage. We are an accelerator program. Young people are facing an issue of unemployment. Not even COVID could stop the virtual graduations. We saw them on television. It meant more and more graduates were being put out in the market. Where are they going to go? We need to strengthen the business ecosystem to be able to empower these young people to start their own businesses. For them, if we meet an entrepreneur or we meet young and we'll help this person start that business. Rather than tell them, so we don't do that by this person gets discouraged. What have we done? They're at an idea stage. We do not work with the idea stage. We pick idea and we'll have the other thing that I'll talk about collaboration is the rate of startup failure. We've seen the statistics, but if they go through an incubator, they go through an accelerator, they're able to succeed. We are able to sustain this business. But the other question is, if we collaborate as stakeholders, we will not let this person go through 10 programs in 2 years and not make progress on the idea they originally had. They want to scale up. Refer them to an accelerator program that will pick it up from there and grow their business. Is there a funding opportunity? Is there an investment opportunity that we can give this young person to be able to scale up their business? And with time, we'll not have a season whereby for 5 years, somebody has been at an idea stage. Then for us in the ecosystem, we'll ask ourselves, what is our impact? What do we want to achieve in Mombasa? 220,000 organizations, that's a big number. Let's look at the unemployment rate. So let's collaborate. Let's come together in terms of this is what we offer. At our organization, we've worked both with micro enterprises and small SMEs, growing SMEs across various locations for the past 10 years. Over 35,000 entrepreneurs. Surely there's something that you can pick from AC. There's something that we can also learn from each other. So for us, we're looking at collaboration as a two-way process. We create this pipeline where you refer people, but also let's not say no and don't send this person over to Eva because either Close the Gap can help her or TechBridge where they can find support. So let's collaborate. It's a two-way process. Let's just not say no, and yet we know what these different stakeholders are doing. So for the massive platform, it comes in at the right time. Why? Because young people have information. They will now know that these are the organizations that can help. These are organizations that will help me. And this information is power. We need to help young people succeed. For me to succeed in the businesses that they're running, and this platform can test out, they'll be able to visit, they'll be able to see what will work best for them. Rather than wait 3 years later and realize they should have talked to a different partner sometimes back. So it's a great platform. One, it provides information, and also it provides an opportunity for a young person to see clearly in the next 3 years, this is how my business can either grow or this is my path to growth. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Massey. Thank you so much, Massey. And you've brought out something very important. We as stakeholders are dealing with and we are putting together initiatives for entrepreneurs. But then some of them might not be directly to start with the youth, right? But we're working with businesses that can stand in to be a support for this youth, either through peer-to-peer learning. If you're working with a business that has existed for 10 years in the same industry with the youth who's starting business industry, why don't we say, please guide them? The ecosystem is growing, and as the ecosystem, especially for businesses and entrepreneurs, it is that hand-holding that helps more. One of the youth mentioned here, it's a very lonely, if you run a business, it is a very lonely journey. So our stakeholders, it is a very lonely journey. So our stakeholders having access to successful businesses, how can we also share this information, the support, the skills to the young people as they are starting business? And my question to you, Jara, is, as we've listened to the rest of the panelists, they're doing different initiatives. Key high point there is there was the assumption of private-led as what are you putting in place to also support this initiative one way or another?
Thank you, Madam. First, I would say I will be supporting my panelists, my fellows, for that information is power, and the mass has come at the right time. In fact, me as an old employer of the government, I can remember it taken a position what we used to call DDC. For this regime, DDC means District Development Committee. That committee was initially to coordinate all the players in the government and even the private sector. Meet the radio at the DC's office or at the PC's office, and all of us could share what we are providing to the community. And then we can now see how to can partner and maybe avoid what we call duplication of activities or what. So I can say mass has come at the right time. In fact, it has taken the position what we used to call DDCs. Okay, as the government, MSEA is just 1 year, one and a half. As I said earlier, our main mandate is to coordinate. Said earlier, our main mandate is to coordinate all the players in the MC sector, both in the public or in the private sector. So still we are developing some system of how we could do this thing. For example, right now, we are doing a formation of all MCs, both individual or groups. So that as MSEA, and we see there's a player, like my partners here, they come and they're taking a certain group. We can now have that database that you need these people maybe in agribusiness. These are the people at this. That's what you are now doing. We are preparing a database of all the MSCs. We are getting 5 million MSCs. Both individual and in groups. Our groups are normally called MSC associations. Like Tuesday, we were at the Likoni Ferry. We are registering all those hawkers so that we have their data. So we know where to find these people. But already mass has come in and we really support it. In fact, I think we came there. We are in the process of signing you to get this information. So as a government, we are coordinating, regulating, and also promoting and developing the MSC sector so that we can. So we are not yet the youth get the promotion and the MSC sector. So we are not yet late. We are in the process done by mass, and we really support it. And my see, in fact, what it takes here from the whole country to Mwanza in Tanzania. MSEA also promotes the MSCs. It is assessing markets for their products. So we have an exhibition in Mwanza in Tanzania, which will run for the whole week.
Recording in progress.
Because of COVID-19, we did not get good numbers because the finances have gone down. We wanted some support from the county government, but unfortunately for Mombasa, we are told there was no budget on that. So the few we got from Mombasa, I think there are only 2. They are now exhibiting their products in Nyanza. And we do support 4 subsectors. One is manufacturing. Because this authority was initially what was called the Juakali programs. But with that name, we found that youth, especially those ones from the universities, from colleges, could not join this organization because it was, according to them, they thought it was only meant for those who never went to school and the ones who are old. Panel beating, mechanical work, carpentry work. So we changed that one to micro and small enterprises so that we can now bring in other subsectors like we bring the traders who are we call hawkers, the ones who are and then we also register what we call service providers. These are people who can now bring in other subsectors, agribusiness. I was registered today. We have people so that other players coming in, and maybe the government does not have the capacity to support them, then can do the leakaging. Also, as a government, what we have started with in Mombasa, and this for the information of all of us, we have opened a Biashara Center at the KEBS offices, Kenya Bureau of Standards, just opposite Ambalale House. We have a Biashara Center at the ground level. What we have started with, we have brought in all the agencies in the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Enterprises, so that when an MSC comes,
Recording in progress.
within one shop, we have agencies like Kiridi. Kiridi is about doing research and developing the innovations by our youth, especially the graduates. So they come there, we link them to that department so that they can now do more research on their innovations. Then we also have KIPI. KIPI is about protecting that innovation by the youth so that other people do not steal it. Like you see what happened to Safari M-Pesa. This was an innovation, but see what happened. It was from abroad. So KIPI has come in from abroad. So KIPI has come in to the young people to do what? To protect the innovations. Then we also have KIA. Musaya at current, we don't have any finances. Apart from what I talked earlier, we are only supporting the World Bank on KIA. But now because we don't have finances, we have brought in KIA. KIA will give policies and also give financial support and plus equipment support for our MSCs, and also incubation for our MSCs, especially those ones that are starting. Then we also have another, we have KENAS. KENAS is just like KEBS. It is protecting now registering or giving accreditation to all MSCs in services, especially in transportation and maybe in clearing and forwarding services. Then finally we have KEBS. The ones who have housed us there, they bring good standards to your products because export your products to overseas have to have that standard. Okay, will come in there. You tell you, okay, we have brought this product through innovation, through KIPI, then now to trade so they can as well export your product to outside the country. I think that one answers questions, unless maybe there are some other questions I'm ready to answer. Oh, before I forget, for the amateurs who do not have maybe capital, MSEA is in the process of having a fund from the Treasury. When the Act was passed, there was a fund which was to be it is called Micro and Small Enterprise Fund by MSEA. It's called Micro and Small Enterprise Fund, MSC Fund. Like what you are saying with the politicians now when they're doing politics, bottom up. Whom are they targeting? The low traders. Eh? Now, what they are only telling you is that there's a fund coming. The bill is still in the parliament. And I'm sure by the end of this year, it will be enacted as an act. So that when that fund comes to us, we know how to regulate that fund to overseas. That's why we are doing registration. So the first question we ask you as an individual or a group, are you registered with MSEA? If you are not, I'm very sorry. So information that you should register with MSEA so that you can get that funding. Thanks. Maybe I can answer those questions if they come.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Njera. Thank you so much, Njera. You've brought out something very key. And I can hear questions from the audience. And I know the youths listening in from Likoni want to know, is this process, registering process still ongoing? When is the MSE fund starting? Something very close to our conversation here is, it is this information, it is this data that Mercy is coming to support, filling this gap, that how can I receive information that is useful at the correct time? You don't want to have a youth saying, this would have been an amazing opportunity, but I just found out now when it was posted 4 weeks ago. So what Mercy is doing as part of his features, information, and by information comes through all angles. We have all been on social media. We hear about fake news. So Mercy also is ensuring that we have partners that provide credible information, not just any information. And I want to share them being informed of time. Question around financing and funding. Njera explained very clearly, especially from side, Zaid, on this particular conversation in terms of financing the youth. And I know it's always high risk when you're financing, idea stage level, and that's why we have different levels of support. Is it research? Is it mentorship? Is it capacity building first before funding? So I want to hear from you. How has it been supporting businesses in this space, especially on funding? And what are the best practices? And are you ever extending to the opportunity youth? Thank you.
All right, thank you for that question. It's a very good question. When we talk about financing youth, it's very risky. And most lenders normally share financing youth. But that doesn't mean that we cannot finance. There are a lot of constraints. There are a lot of constraints as well that youth are facing. One is they do not have a credit history, because that is what most lenders look at. How's your credit history? Youth don't have that. The only credit history they'll have is that M-Shwari loan that they took and they never paid back. Yeah? So are you going to deny that youth because of that 200 shillings? Yeah? They also don't have collateral. Because it's a risky affair, most lenders look for collateral. So I think we need to shift from the traditional lending models where we look at history, we look at collateral, and all that. We need to shift that to relationship financing. Yeah? We at Hazina, how we do it is we work with groups most. I had said earlier that we work with women and youth. So we mobilize them into groups. We train these groups on the different areas. First being in a group, and then debt management and all that. Yeah? And then we also handhold them. So we advise them on a continuous basis, and we also provide ongoing mentorship support to a point that we have built a very good relationship with these women and youth. We know them, yeah, and we finance individuals within a group. So there is also that peer pressure that if I don't pay, then Mercy, who needs to borrow also, will put a pressure on me to pay. So you see, the aspect of being in a group also helps the financial institution or the lender to ensure that the money is paid back or the risk is reduced. Yeah. So I think when you talk of best practices, that would be the first. We look at relationship more than looking at collateral and the history, and then youth lack education. Yeah, a number of youth, when they get money, they don't know how to utilize the money. So financial education is key, and this is a call to all players who are financing youth. I think it's important to ensure that in your programs you extend that financial education. Then you can give them loans. But it's a very risky affair. You can't just dish out money to youth. If you have free money to give out and you don't want it back, then yes, you can do it. But you need to have a certain process. You need to ensure that you have financial education, you have mentorship programs that you support this youth, and let's look more on character and relationship other than looking at collateral and history. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zaid. Very key. We look at when we say youths don't have the skills, and we know partners here offering capacity development programs. We have entrepreneurship programs from KPA. Boost Your Business are doing an amazing incubator program. It is that correlation, that coordination of when you are youth starting your business. Best support is from this organization. When you move further in, this is where you get support. And Mercy stepping in and supporting that is very, very crucial. And being informed, good people joining in virtually. Our youths really have questions for you. I want to confirm, Arafat, in a minute, the young people have put together, you are the partners with the information. the ask is directly to you. And as we wait for Arafat there, I want to put a question to the rest of the panelists, especially for AEC, sorry, and Fridays here. You're dealing with businesses that are looking at either towards accelerators or scaling up. What advice would you give, or what level of support are you keen to provide for the youths who are, like Njera said, they're really MSE, essentially? You're saying you're starting your business, you're studying the market. We might be using heavy languages here, but they are in the same path towards the business that both your organizations are supporting. So we'll start with you, Fridays, then Mercy, then I check in with Arafat.
The question is, what advice we would like to give the youth that would like to enter acceleration programs? Yes. So acceleration programs are usually for post-revenue companies. It means that they have had to have some sales of their products, right? So it already excludes a lot of early stage startups. So that's the most important criteria that we have to join our acceleration program. They call it traction. To prove that you have sold the product means traction. Secondly, because we are tech bridge, our criteria that it should be tech enabled. That's also a difficult word, but it means that you're using tech to grow your business, right? It's often an app, a website that enables you to grow the business beyond, the street in Mombasa that you live, for example. It also could include manufacturing. So, for example, if you produce something, it could be yogurt. If you can scale it up by buying a machine, right? And it could be a very profitable business. Advice? Well, I would just say go out to the market, really, to get those sales. To understand your customer, what is their problem that you have to solve? Who is your customer, and try to find your first customer, and to then maybe work with that first customer to improve your product. I think that's the main thing.
Thank you so much for that question. For us, what we look at least you've run your business for at least 6 months, but you've already started making some sales, you've identified your customers, but you're trying to still figure out. So we have a number of things that we look at, but basically we start at the point of you've been there, you've tried, you've tested, there's some sales that are coming in. So our work is to help you figure out your systems, your structures, your processes. So rather than doing it alone, we are that partner that takes away that headache. Figuring out, where do I get my customer? Right now, we are in a period whereby everyone's eyes is on recovery. We've had just the COVID. We're still in the COVID season, and no one knows when it will end. It means that we have to change the way we've been doing either ourselves. We have to change to look for that customer. It means, like, even online, there is a new market that has just come up that is untapped online. So we have various projects in digital advisory, financial management, sales and marketing. But at the end of the day, try something, get somewhere, we come and hold you from there. We will help you grow. Thank you so much.
Arafat, are we ready for the young people? 1 more minute. All right. The young people will be sending in questions. So just as we wrap up our panel, I want to give each and every panelist to give a parting shot. What does Mercy mean for your Mercy, the platform itself, not you, Mercy, but what does Mercy, the platform, mean for the collaborative that you're doing and the projects that you're about to roll out. I'll start this side now.
Thanks a lot again. To me, mass means a lot. As earlier, it has taken a very good forum which used to be there, and I hope it will do more than what it used to do. In fact, also Mercy has simplified our work as MSEA, because we are saying we are to coordinate. But you now see we are late, but Mass has come. So Mass has come at the right time, and I'm sure it will really assist MSEA. And I am sure because most of you are youth, you are very good in the technology, unlike some of us in the offices. And I hope we are going to cooperate, we are going to coordinate with you. And I'm sure my CEO will be so happy about it. I would wish to mention something I'd forgotten earlier, Madam, for the amateur entrepreneurs. MSEA has also what we call working sites. Working sites where we take our incubators, we give them space for free for some period so that they can grow. As they grow, then they can mature and go out. Currently, we have built what we call a Constituency Industrial Development Center at Tilikarni at a place called Ibububu. It's a big land. We have just before workshop. We are in the process of registering a group there led by Maulid. He has a testimony on that. We are to balance where we do train them on basic machines, like lead machines in wood and lathe in metal work. So as they are trained, they also come to our sites in the counties to train other youths, because the same machines will be put in those sites and work sites for the common use of our SCs from that locality. So you go there, you get services at a cheaper price than you're going maybe to Amhindi, especially maybe when you're making maybe some nuts, some springs, it will assist you as the youth. We are also partnered with the Standing to do what we call digital entrepreneurship training, so that our youth can assess what we call e-marketing. Because of COVID-19, we have come up with that platform, and we are sure this one will be very useful to our youth. Finally, we have also partnered with K-Equip Bank, so that our MSCs can go and get some can get loans at lower rates. And it's also already happening in Mombasa and Nairobi. So our youths, our entrepreneurs, you are most welcome. As you see there, says all about al-mashauri ya ujasiriamali. Ujasiriamali simply means what? Entrepreneurship. So we are targeting the youth, especially those in innovations and maybe product development. So please come. Our NSSF building, second floor. Most welcome, please.
For me, I'm excited. Mercy platform comes in at the right time. One, because of the accuracy of the information or the information about stakeholders. This means that the desired target group, that is the opportunity youth, will be able to access information that will help them in making decisions. At the same time, will accelerate the growth of these enterprises, because this platform was non-existent, and now that it's going to exist, they're able to make a selection or be able to gather information within a short period of time. The other thing, it's opening up Mombasa to other stakeholders. There are people who are interested in coming to Mombasa. There are people who are looking at Mombasa as the next city after Nairobi for growth. So this platform also will guide investors, it will guide interested parties, whoever, or even partner with the government. I believe that this platform will be a go-to place for such information. Thank you so much.
I think, Mercy, if you try to move away from Mombasa Entrepreneurship Resource Center for Youth, it's also a blessing. Yeah, Mercy also means blessing, isn't it? Yeah. So I think young people, we are blessed to have such a platform. Yeah. When I was starting in business, we never had such platforms or people-driven advice. So I think this is a blessing, and every youth should take this opportunity to engage with the system and or interact with the system and apply for the programs that are there. The statistics are just scaring: 373,000 youth in Mombasa, out of what is the population of Mombasa. So there's a big percentage of opportunity youth. So we need to bring down that figure. And I think this is a call for all youth. Let's not just sit and wait as people say, tunangoja maembe yaanguke. No, let's take an initiative of starting something, and Mass is a platform to show you where to begin. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, so this is what I'd say. For Mercy, I'm just hoping and looking forward for data and for the expansion of Mercy from Mombasa to the other counties. And that's where I believe CAP Youth Empowerment Institute can come in very handy, as well as other organizations that are, beyond Mombasa. Thank you so much.
I see Mercy as a platform that first is important for us as stakeholders to be able to communicate value, and secondly for us to tap into the skills that are available in the community. We have so many youth, not all of them can be entrepreneurs, but they have skills that can be used in those entrepreneurship businesses that we are trying to develop. So how can we bring all these people in one place and then be able to harness that value and turn it into an ecosystem that actually creates jobs?
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of our second panel. Please, let's clap for our panelists as they leave. And I'll hand this back to Solomon and Shufa.
Thank you so much, Daisy, for that wonderful moderation. It was an amazing discussion. I don't know why people don't have questions. Wow. Are you tired? You're hungry? It's okay. Thank you. We thank you so much for your patience and your Solomon, your attentiveness. So we will break for our
So what I request, today I've been between a rock and a hard place. I hope that is the right word, because we've kept the regional commissioner and the government spokesman and other dignitaries of government down there for 2 hours. But I told them it was also important for us to finish what we had planned for almost a month. So what I will request is now we will move down to the amphitheater, which has already been prepared, and then we will bring the lunch down there. We will listen to them, especially the young people, because they really wanted a session with young people. And then after that, we will actually let you know what is next. But we will serve lunch from down there. I think after lunch will be done. But for now, for those who are online, I just want to thank the team in Likoni, Manyata. I know Malenga and the team that are down there, Funny Youth Network, the people in Bangla, led by Alfred Sigo, Kwacha Africa in Kisauni Nyali. So we thank you for this. But I think we've had a fruitful engagement. Alice will do a summary down there so that we also meet the two. So I request we go from outside this way, and then we will serve lunch down there, led by our young people. The PS system will also move down. So in 5 minutes, we should be down there. Asanteni sana.